بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ما بعد. We come to Al-Asl-Tasi', the ninth foundation mentioned by Shaykh Abdus-Salaam, Shaykh Abdus-Salaam ibn Burjis, Rahimahullah, from the usul of this da'wah, Dawah Salafiyya, 10 foundations or principles of this call to the way of the Salaf, to the manhaj of the Salaf and the religion of the Salaf of this ummah. 10 foundations that the Shaykh he mentioned here, and we have come today to the ninth principle or the ninth foundation. Al-Asl-Tasi', munabadatu ahli al-bid'ah wa tahdhir minhum, opposing the people of innovation, wa tahdhir minhum, and to warn against them. Naam. So again, from that which the Shaykh he made mention of during this muhadara, because the origin of this is a lecture that he gave, principles and foundations agreed upon by the Salaf of this ummah. And so he says, ajma' as-Salaf, and the Salaf agreed, all of them, ala munabadati ahli al-bid'ah, they all agreed upon opposing the people of innovation and waging war against them, wa tahdhir minhum, and to warn against them, kama hakahu anhum al-Qadi Abu Ya'la, as the Imām al-Qadi Abu Ya'la he narrated from the Salaf, saying that they have unanimously agreed upon this, that they are all in agreement with this principle of opposing the people of innovation and warning against them. وغيره من المحققين, and others than him, others than Al-Qadi Abu Ya'la, from the muhaqqiqeen, from the ulama who verify affairs and matters. ومما يجدر التنبيه عليه في هذه القضية أن أهل البدع في زماننا هذا يتسترون بلباس السنة ويختفون خلف اسمها بينما هم غارقون في البدع. Shaykh, he mentions that what is befitting to be cautious of in this affair is that the people of innovation in these times of ours, يتسترون, they cover themselves بلباس السنة, they cover themselves with the clothing of the Sunnah. ويختفون, and they hide and conceal, خلف اسمها, behind its name. They say we are upon the Sunnah, we are Ahl Sunnah. نعم. بينما هم غارقون في البدع, whilst the reality is that they are drowning in bid'ah. They are drowned, they are drowned in and immersed in innovation. يعرف ذلك كل من نظر إليهم عن قرب واطلع على ما يتسارون به من حزبيات وتنظيمات. Every person who looks into them and is able to get close to them and looks at them in detail and is able to look into that which they يتسارون, meaning that which they conceal between themselves and that which they keep secret, from the hizbiyat, the various parties and groups, وتنظيمات, and the various organizations and so on. نعم. ومحاولة خروج عن الحاكم المسلم, and that which they try and attempt to do from khuruj, going out against and rebelling against the Muslim ruler. وَنَكْثٍ لِلْبَيْعَةِ وَنَحْوِ ذَلِكَ. And to violate the pledge that is in place between the ruler and his subjects. Naam. And so here, the Shaykh did not mention this here, but he mentioned this in another risala of his. He mentions a beautiful athar from the Imām Sahl bin Abdullah Tusturi. Sahl bin Abdullah Tusturi from the 2nd century, from the 3rd century. He died in 283 after Hijrah. Sahl bin Abdullah Tusturi. Because here the Shaykh, he mentioned that the people of innovation, and in particular those who cover themselves with the libas of the Sunnah, whilst the reality being that they are drowned in innovations, that they try and attempt to go out against the ruler. So Sahl bin Abdullah Tusturi, Rahimahullah, he said, هذه الأمة 73 فرقة. He said, this ummah is of 73 sects. This ummah consists of 73 sects. We all know this from the hadith concerning the iftiraq of the ummah. 72 هالكة. 72 of them are destroyed. هالكة. كلهم يبغض السلطان. All of them hate the sultan. All of them hate the sultan. Something common between the groups and the sects. You find this. And for the one who has insight and the one who has experienced this, if perhaps before the establishment of a masjid of Sunnah, and a person was compelled to pray behind these people and attend the Jum'ah and so on of these people, of the masajid, the ikhwan, if a person found himself in the masajid of the Ahnaf, from the various groups that they have, the Tablighiyin and the Diyabandis and so on, that you find that all of them, when they have the opportunity, they have this thing in common. They have khuruj with them. They will speak about the ruler. All of them. They speak about the rulers. And the Imam, he is the fiqh of the Imam. And this understanding and this which he must have experienced in his time, and that which was present in his time. Naam, that the 72 sects all have this in common, that all of them, they hate the sultan. وَالنَّاجِيَ هَذِهِ الْوَاحِدَةِ الَّتِي مَعَ السُّلْطَانِ. The one saved sect, that is the one that is with the sultan. And that is because they are truly the people of Sunnah. They are the people of Sunnah, and they accept everything that has come in the Kitabah and the Sunnah regarding our mu'amala, our dealings with the sultan. Now, and so the Shaykh, he Rahimahullah, he continues and he says, وَهَذَا الدَّعْبِ مِنْ أَهْلِ الْبِدْعَةِ في هذا الزمان هو دأب أهل البدع قديما. This practice of the people of innovation in this time is the same practice of the people of innovation of old. وبهذا العمل تروج بدعهم. And via this way, via their secret gatherings and so on, they spread and circulate their innovations. وتثبت في القلوب. And these innovations begin to settle and take place in the hearts. نعم. وقد روى ابن بطة رحمه الله في الإبانة. And so the Imam Ibn Battah, he brings with his chain from Mufaddal ibn Muhalhal. From Mufaddal ibn Muhalhal, وهو أحد الثقات العباد أصحاب السنة. So he narrates from him, and he was one of the thiqat, one of the trustworthy narrators, al-Ubbad, from the Ubbad, from those fervent worshippers, from the people of Sunnah, أنه قال, that he said, لو كان صاحب البدعة إذا جلست إليه يحدثك ببدعته حذرته وفررت منه. If the person of innovation, if you were to sit with him and he was to narrate his innovation to you and speak with his innovation, come with his innovation and present his innovation to you, حضرته, you'd be cautious of him and you would flee from him. ولكنه يحدثك بأحاديث السنة. However, he narrates to you a hadith from the Sunnah. A hadith from the Sunnah. في بدو مجلسي. يعني in the open and apparent, يعني in that which is open and apparent in his gatherings. يعني in his gatherings, he would make that apparent. What he makes apparent in his gatherings is the ahadith from the Sunnah that are established. And he makes the Sunnah apparent. ثم يدخل عليك بدعته. But then he enters his innovation into you. نعم. And he speaks with his innovation. فلعلها تلزم قلبك. And perhaps the innovation becomes attached to the heart. And it becomes inseparable from the heart. فمتى تخرج من قلبك. So when will it leave your heart? So this is the statement of مفضل ابن محلهل. ولهذه العلة الملحوظة. And so due to this reason, that which the Salaf observed, that which they noticed from يعني the people of innovation and their harms, وهي دخول البدع في القلب وخشية علوقها به. And so the Shaykh is explaining that يعني this reason, the fact that innovations enter the heart and the fear that they become يعني inseparable from the heart. Become inseparable from the heart, becomes attached to these innovations. كان السلف رحمة الله تعالى عليهم لا يستمعون للمبتدع كلاما. The Salaf, may Allah have mercy upon them, they would not listen to the innovator. They would not listen to his speech. They would not lend ear to the speech of an innovator. ويحرصون كل الحرص على الابتعاد عن المواطن التي يتكلم فيها أهل البدع. They were adamant in every way to distance themselves from those places in which the people of innovation would speak. Now, and so here we see from this narration, a clear narration, يعني from that which we saw from Mufaddal ibn Mahalhal, and that which the Shaykh is going to bring, that the Salaf of this Ummah, that which was an established foundation with them, is that they would not sit with the people of innovation, they would oppose them, and they would warn against them, to this extent that they would not listen to any of their speech. فقد روى ابن بطة في الإبانة, again ابن بطة في الإبانة أيضا بسنده عن معمر ابن راشد قال, who said, كان ابن طاووس جالسا. Ibn Tawus, yani Abdullah ibn Tawus, the son of Tawus ibn Kaysan. Tawus ibn Kaysan is from the Tabi'een who they say he met 50 of the Sahaba. 50 of them. This is his son, Abdullah ibn Tawus. He was sitting, جالسا. فجاء رجل من المعتزلة. So a man came from the Mu'tazila, from that sect, that well-known sect, the Mu'tazila. فجعل يتكلم. He began to speak. قال, he said, so this is Ma'mar. فأدخل ابن طاووس أصبعي في أذني. So he took both his fingers and he placed them into his ears. وقال لابنه أي بني. He said to his son, he said, my dear son, he said, أدخل أصبعيك في أذنيك. He said, place both your fingers into your ears. واشدد. يعني tightly, deep. Place them deep into your ears. Place your fingers into your ears لا تسمع من كلامه شيئا. Don't listen to anything of his speech. قال معمر, so Ma'mar, he commented and he said, إن القلب ضعيف, because the heart is weak. The heart is weak. The heart can accept يعني that which is beautified and that which comes in the libas of the sunnah. نعم, and the heart is weak. وقد أخرج ابن بطة أيضا في كتابه المشار إليه سابقا آثارا من هذا القبيل فيما أخرجه عن عبد الرزاق. And so again, Ibn Battah in the previously mentioned kitab Al-Ibana, he mentions a number of narrations from هذا القبيل, of the same sort, the same types, similar narrations. فيما أخرجه عن عبد الرزاق, that which he records from عبد الرزاق, عبد الرزاق الصنعاني. فقال عن نفسه, so عبد الرزاق is saying about himself. قال لإبراهيم ابن محمد ابن أبي يحيى, that Ibrahim said to him, وهو أحد المعتزلة, one of the معتزلة. أرى المعتزلة عندهم كثير. I see that the معتزلة amongst you are many. نعم, so this is Ibrahim saying this to Abd al-Razzaq. قلت, Abd al-Razzaq, he said, نعم, he said yes. وهم يزعمون أنك منهم, and they claim, so now who's this? This is Abd al-Razzaq saying to Ibrahim. وهم يزعمون أنك منهم, they claim that you are from them, that you're a Mu'tazili just like them. قال, and so he said, this is Ibrahim, he said, أفلا تدخل معي هذا الهانوت حتى أكلمك. He said, will you not enter this mahal, this place, dukkan, store, or whatever it was? Will you not enter this place with me, that I could speak to you? So I can speak to you. قال, قلت, لا. I said, no. قال لما? Ibrahim asked him, he said, why? قلت لأن القلب ضعيف, because the heart is weak. والدين ليس لمن غلب. والدين ليس لمن غلب. And the religion is not for the one who defeats, for the one who gets the upper hand, or the one who overcomes the other, wins the argument. Because it's possible that the person of innovation, sahib bid'ah, is strong in his adillah and the angles that he comes from and the arguments that he comes with. It's possible he's strong and he in the gathering that he overcomes sahib sunnah, and his doubts are accepted either by the one who is addressing or those who are present. So his doubts find a place in the hearts of those who are present. نعم. وأخرج ابن بطة أيضا بسند عن سعيد بن عامر قال. So again, all of these narrations from Ibn Battah, and he brings his chains for each of them. This one leading to Sa'id ibn Amir قال, who said, حدثنا سلام ibn أبي مطيع أن رجلا من أصحاب الأهواء قال لأيوب السختياني. So Salam ibn Abi Muti', he said that a man from the people of desires, the people of innovation, he said to Ayub al-Sakhtiyani, Ya Aba Bakr, O Abu Bakr, As'aluk an kalima. Can I ask you about a word? And seeking clarification about a particular word. Qala Ayub, he said, وجعل يشير بأصبعه ولا نصف كلمة ولا نصف كلمة. So he began to say to him and signal to him with his finger, ولا نصف كلمة, not even half a word. And he repeated it again, not even half a word. نعم. The Salaf, the Imams, they wouldn't listen to them, nor would they speak to them. نعم. فهكذا كان السلف. Such was the way of the Salaf, رحمة الله تعالى عليهم أجمعين. يعزفون عن الاستماع إلى المبتدعة. They would abstain and refrain from listening to the people of innovation. بل ويحذرون من ذلك. Rather, not just that they would refrain from listening to them, they would also warn. Step further, they would warn. They would warn against them. لئلا يلج القلب شيء من بدعهم. يعني so that nothing from their innovation would enter their hearts or enter the heart. فتحصل عندئذ الهلكة. Thus, thereafter, if the innovation enters the heart, then it leads to destruction. فكيف بالله يكون قولهم في من يجالس المبتدع ويحضر دروسه. If this is the case, if they would abstain from listening to the people of innovation, lending the ear to them, if they would warn from them, then what would be their speech concerning the one who sits with them? The one who sits with them and attends their durus, their lessons and their classes and their lectures and so on. فلا شك أن كلامهم في هذا سوف يكون أشد وأقوى. There's no doubt that their speech in this matter, the one who sits with them, then it would be more severe, and their rebuke or their warnings would be stronger. نعم. ولذا لما قدم سفيان الثوري البصرة, therefore when سفيان الثوري, when he arrived in Basra, when he reached Basra, جعل ينظر إلى أمر الربيع ibn Sabih. He began to investigate into the affair of this individual named Rabi' ibn Sabih. He wanted to know his status, what's his condition. وقدره عند الناس, and what's his status amongst the people. فسأل عن مذهبه, and so he asked concerning his way, his manhaj, and his path, his methodology and so on. فقالوا له, so they said to him, ما مذهبه إلا السنة. His madhab is nothing other than the sunnah. أي ليس نعرف من مذهبه إلا السنة. We don't know anything from him except the sunnah. فقال, and so now Sufyan al-Thawri, he then asked, من بطانته. من بطانته. Who are his intimates? Who are his close friends? قالوا أهل القدر. They said the people of Qadar. قال هو قدري. So he then said هو قدري, then therefore he is قدري. Therefore he is قدري. نعم. And so here we see again another narration from which we benefit that the person of Sunnah, he does not associate and become close with the people of innovation. And here, no doubt, as the Ibn Battah, he mentions here, and he goes on to praise Sufyan al-Thawri, and that he agreed with the Kitab and the Sunnah. There's no doubt that all of this, these narrations from the Imams, these Imams of the Salaf, they go back to the Kitab and the Sunnah. They go back to the Kitab and the Sunnah. In the Hadith, Al-Arwah Junud, Mada? Or the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said, Al-Arwah, the souls are Junud Mujannada. They are like a recruited army. The souls, تجمع, they come together, they gather, they come together. They are like a recruited army. An army, as we know, whenever you see an army, they are together, tight, close together. They come together. فما تعرف منها, الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم, he said in the hadith, فما تعرف منها ماذا؟ ائتلف. Whichever of these souls they agree, ائتلف. ائتلف, there's ulfa between them, there's closeness and they become intimate and close. نعم. وما تناكر منها اختلف. And those of them that differ, or those of them that disagree, afwan, then they differ. So no doubt here, when Sufyan al-Thawri asked about Al-Rabi' ibn Sabih, when he saw that his close, intimate friends are those from the people of Qadr, and those who fell into the innovation of Qadr, he then regarded him as being from them. And again, likewise, the hadith. That hadith we mentioned is from the hadith from Abu Hurraira and Aisha in the Sahihain. You have also the hadith from Abu Hurraira, likewise in the Sunnah of Abu Dawood and Tirmidhi, where he said, Ar-Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said, Ar-Rajul ala dini khalili. A man is upon the religion of his companion. فَلْيَنْظُرْ أَحَدُكُمْ مَنْ يُخَالِلْ. Then let one of you look to whom he takes as his companion. A clear hadith from the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the Salaf of the Ummah. This is where they take all of this from. They agree with the Kitab and the Sunnah. And so here Ibn Battah he says, تعليقا على قول سفيان هذا, commenting upon this statement of Sufyan, rahmatullahi ala Sufyan al-Thawri. So making dua for the Imam, he says, لقد نطق بالحكمة فصدق. For indeed he spoke with wisdom, فصدق. I know, أيها الإخوة, that you're getting closer and closer to understanding the Lugha. Many of you already, you understand, but this is one of the reasons why we continue, from the request of many of the brothers, that we continue to read the Arabic. Wallah, it requires sabr, but I know with time it becomes something which you begin to understand. The Arabic language, alhamdulillah, is easy to learn. Not as difficult. Don't listen to those people who say, it's difficult. Wallah, it's not difficult. You keep listening, you keep reading, you keep hearing, inshallah you pick it up. Inshallah, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, with time, then we have seen many of the brothers who, wallah, they've not even been out to the Arab-speaking countries. They haven't been out, many of them. Many of the good brothers were strong in the Arabic language. Have become strong purely from reading, listening, and so on. Naam. And so he says, لَقَدْ نَطَقَ بِالْحِكْمَةِ. Sufyan, he spoke with hikmah, فَصَدَقَ, and he was truthful. وَقَالَ بِالْعِلْمِ, and he spoke with knowledge. فَوَافَقَ الْكِتَابِ وَالسُّنَّةِ, and he agreed with the Kitab and the Sunnah. وَمَا تُوجِبُهُ الْحِكْمَةِ, and that which hikmah necessitates. وَيُدْرِكُهُ الْعِيَانِ. Al-Iyan, here you have Ayan. No, that's a khata, that's a mistake. Al-Ayan is the opposite, or has a different meaning. Al-Iyan, وَيُدْرِكُهُ الْعِيَانِ, yani from the eyes. That which, the eyes witness. Meaning that which we see, from the Sunnah and from the Athar of the Salaf, that the souls are like a recruited army. Qadri, befriends another Qadri. Sahib Sunnah, he befriends Sahib Sunnah. Person of innovation, he befriends person of innovation. So this is something which we see, we witness with our eyes. So وَيُدْرِكُهُ الْعِيَانِ. Al-Iyan, not Ayan. Al-Ayan is different. Al-Ayan is from Ay. Al-Ayyan is one who's sick or marid. So that wouldn't make sense here. Al-Iyan, وَيُدْرِكُهُ الْعِيَانِ وَيَعْرِفُهُ أَهْلُ الْبَصِيرَ وَالْبَيَانِ. Naam. And that which the people of insight and clarity know. قال الله تعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تتخذوا بطانة من دونكم لا يألونكم خبالا ودوا ما عنتم. The saying of Allah subhanahu in Surah Ali Imran, O you who have believed, لا تتخذوا بطانة, do not take as advisors and intimate friends and helpers, من دونكم, those outside of yourselves, meaning those other than the Muslims. Naam, from the Jews and the Christians and the hypocrites and so on. لا يألونكم خبالا, those who will not cease to try and corrupt you, and those who wish, those who wish to harm you in the severest of ways. نعم. ويقول الفضيل بن عياض رحمه الله, and Fudail Fudayl ibn Iyad, he said, Al-arwah junud mujannada. The hadith that we mentioned this here, he's mentioning and he's quoting the hadith of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then he adds to it, Al-arwah junud mujannada. The souls are like a junud, an army, mujannada, that has been recruited together. فما تعرف منها ائتلف. Those of them, those souls that agree. ائتلف, they come together and they become close and intimate with one another. وما تناكر منها اختلف. And those of them that differ, those of them that disagree, they differ. ولا يمكن أن يكون صاحب سنة يمالئ صاحب بدعة إلا من نفاق. Again, this is the statement of Fudayl ibn Iyad. After quoting the hadith of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says that it is not possible for the person of Sunnah that he that he sides with or joins forces with the person of innovation, except from nifaq, except from hypocrisy. Naam. Qala ibn Battah, again, so numerous narrations from Ibn Battah, and that kitab, no doubt, ayyul ikhwa, in this topic is a gem. It is a gem. Naam. So Ibn Battah bringing many athar from the Salaf of this ummah. Again, Ibn Battah, ta'liqan ala dhalik, commenting upon that, the statement of Al-Fudayl. Sadaqa Al-Fudayl, Rahimahullah. He spoke the truth, Fudayl. فَإِنَّا نَرَى ذَلِكَ عِيَانًا. Indeed, we see that and we witness that with our own eyes, with our eyes. نعم. فَلَقَدْ بَلَغَ مِنْ تَحْذِيرِ السَّلَفِ. And so the Shaykh, he says that the warnings of the Salaf reached the point, their warnings against the people of innovation reached the point that Ahmad ibn Sinan, he said, لأن يجاورني صاحب طنبور أحب إلي من أن يجاورني صاحب بدعة. And that a person of the Tanbur, anyone know what Tanbur is? No, it's a drum. It's a drum. A drum, the musical instrument drum. That a person who owns one of those and plays the drum, a musical instrument, is more beloved to me, that he is my neighbor. It is more beloved to me that he is my neighbor than the person of innovation. لأن صاحب الطنبور أنهاه. Because the one who has this drum, I'm able to forbid him أكسر الطنبور, that I'm able to smash it, I'm able to break it. والمبتدع يفسد الناس. But the innovator, he corrupts the people. والجيران, he corrupts the neighbors. والأحداث, and he corrupts the young ones. He corrupts the young ones, or those who are new into Islam, those who those who are weak in their deen. نعم. يقول ابن بطة رحمه الله تعليقا على هذا الموضوع. Again, Ibn Battah commenting upon this subject. He says, Allah معشر المسلمين لا يحملن أحدا منكم حسن الظن بنفسه وما أحده من معرفته لصحة مذهبه على المخاطرة بدينه في مجالسة بعض أهل هذه الأحواء. A very important statement here and a warning. The Imam, he said, O gatherings of Muslims, do not let any one of you allow the good thoughts that he has of himself, the husn al-dhan that he has of himself, and that which he is familiar with, يعني وما أحده من معرفته لصحة مذهبه, and that which he is acquainted with, and that which he's confident about concerning his own madhab, that he's alhamdulillah, I'm upon the way of the Salaf, I'm upon the Sunnah, and he becomes confident. Let not this carry you. لا يحملن أحدا منكم. Let not any one of you allow this confidence that he may have about himself and the good thoughts that he has about himself. He shouldn't allow that to carry him into a situation where he puts himself into risk. He puts his religion into risk and he places himself in danger, in mukhatara, by sitting with some of the people of desires and the people of innovation. Naam. And so he says, أداخله لأناذره. I'm going to sit with him. I'm going to go and sit with this person so I can debate with him. Naam. أو لأستخرج منه مذهبه. Or that I may work out what's his madhab, what's his way, what's he on, what's his methodology, what's he upon, this individual. فإنهم أي المبتدعة, for indeed the innovators, أشد فتنة من الدجال. He says, Ibn Battah, that the people of innovation, the innovators, they are, or their fitna and their trial is more severe than the fitna of the Antichrist, the Dajjal. نعم. وأحرق للقلوب من اللهب. نعم. And their fitna, and they, the innovators, they burn the hearts. More than or faster than fire or firewood. نعم. ولقد رأيت جماعة من الناس كانوا يلعنونهم ويسبونهم فجالسوهم على سبيل الإنكار والرد عليهم. Indeed, I saw a group from the people, those who at one point or at the beginning they would curse them, they would curse the people of innovation, and they would insult them and so on. And they sat with them in order to make inkar of them, to show their rejection of that which they are upon, and to refute them. فما زالت بهم المباسطة وخفي المكر ودقيق الكفر حتى صبوا إليهم. نعم. And so they continue to sit with them and become friendly, and they were secretly deceived with subtle disbelief. دقيق الكفر, subtle disbelief, until they became inclined to them and eventually began to love them and so on. Now, and so here the Shaykh Abdus-Salaam, he says, Rahimahullah, he says, وَلَقَدْ شَاهَدْنَا أُولَٰئِكَ فِي زَمَانِنَا هَذَا. Indeed, we have witnessed the likes of these people in our times. Those who say, نحن نجالس هؤلاء المبتدعة لأجل مناصحتهم. That we sit with these people of innovation, we sit with them in order to give them nasiha, to advise them. ولأجل الاطلاع على مناهجهم السرية التي يخفونها حتى حتى نحذر منها فيما بعد. We sit with them to advise them. We sit with them in order to gain some insight into that which they're upon, that which they secret, that which they keep secret from their manahij, from their methodologies and so on, secret methodologies that they have and beliefs and principles that they have with them, in order for us to be cautious of them in that which follows. So in the future we can be cautious of them. ثم بعد ذلك يقعون في هبائلهم. Then after time, what happens? They fall into their nets, their traps. They fall into their traps and their net. ويصيرون عونا لهم على أهل السنة. And they end up becoming an aid for them against the people of Sunnah. And how many have we seen? How many have we seen fall into this? عفانا الله وإياكم من ذلك. The Shaykh, he says, may Allah free us and you from that. فهذا هو ما قرره السلف. This is what has been confirmed by the Salaf. نعم وعليه. And so the Shaykh is about to wrap up here, and he says that based on this, فالواجب, that which is obligatory, على من خاف على نفسه الفساد والضلال أن يلزم هذا المنهج, that which is obligatory upon the one who fears for himself al-fasad, corruption and misguidance, that he sticks to this manhaj, that he adheres to it, وأن يسلكه, and that he traverses its path, and he traverses upon this methodology. فوالله إن القوم عن علم نكصوا وعن علم وقفوا. For indeed, the people, they withdrew and turned away from knowledge, based on knowledge, and likewise they resisted and stopped based on knowledge, meaning the Salaf of this ummah, that they turned away from the people of innovation based on knowledge, knowledge taken from the Kitab and the Sunnah, and they would resist and stop based on knowledge likewise. So they would not talk to the people of innovation, that's based on knowledge, based on ahadith and athar and ayat, not to sit with them, naam, not to mix with them and get close with them, take them as close friends and so on. And likewise not to speak in the deen of Allah, not to speak in the deen of Allah, كذلك not to debate, as we saw and we heard from the athar, that the deen is not liman ghalab, and that we don't entertain debating with the people of innovation. يقول الحافظ ابن عساكر في تاريخ دمشق. And so here the Shaykh, he brings a final narration from Ibn Asakir, who is the author of Tarikh Damashq, when he brought the tarjuma, the biography of Ahmad ibn Aoun وهو أحد علماء السنة, and he was one of the scholars of the Sunnah, ناقلا عن أبي عبد الله محمد بن أحمد ابن مفرج. He was transmitting that which he brings is transmitted from Abi Abdullah Muhammad ibn Ahmad ibn Mufarrij, who said, كان أبو جعفر أحمد بن عون الله محتسبا على أهل البدع. That Ahmad ibn Aoun, his kunya was Abu Ja'far, that he was one who was muhtasib ala ahl al-bid'ah. He was one who used to disapprove of ahl al-bid'ah. He used to disapprove of them. غليظا عليهم, he was stern against them. مضلا لهم, and he would humiliate them. قالبا لمساوئهم, he would make apparent their evil traits. He would expose them, would expose their evil traits. مسارعا في مضارهم, and he was quick to harm them. شديد الوطأ عليهم, he was he would aggravate them, he would aggravate them severely. نعم مشردا لهم إذا تمكن منهم, he would drive them away if possible, if that was able, he would drive them away. غير مبق عليهم, and he wouldn't allow them to stay as they were. and يعني he wouldn't remain silent about and remain يعني quiet about them and not do anything. وكان كل من كان منهم خائفا منه على نفسه متوقعا. يعني all of them, the people of innovation, they would fear from him. They would fear him, and يعني they would try to يعني protect themselves from him, from his harm. لا يداهن أحدا منهم على هال. And he wouldn't compromise with them. يعني in any situation, he wouldn't compromise with them. No, يعني he wasn't gentle with them. نعم. ولا يسالمهم. And يعني he wouldn't make peace with them. وإن عثر لأحد منهم على منكر وشهد عليه عنده بانحراف عن السنة نابذه وفضحه. يعني if he was to stumble upon or come across one of them carrying out munkar and evil, يعني from his innovations, or that it was يعني tested to him about an individual that he has gone astray from the sunnah, then he would show his opposition to this individual, he would oppose him, and he would disgrace him. فضحه, he would disgrace him. نعم. وأعلن بذكره, and he would mention him by name. He would mention him by name. So he was seeing how the Salaf was stern against the people of innovation. So he would mention his name. وَالْبَرَاءَةُ مِنْهُ, and he would make clear the fact that he is free from him. وَعَيَّرَهُ بِذِكْرِ السُّوءِ فِي الْمَحَافِلِ, and he would insult him and revile him in the various gatherings. يعني wherever the people would assemble, he would go there and he would insult him and revile him. وَأَغْرَى بِهِ حَتَّى يُهْلِكَ, and he would provoke him. He would continue to provoke him up until he would destroy him. It would destroy that individual. أو ينزع عن قبيح مذهبه, or he would free himself from that madhab that he was upon. He would eventually leave it. نعم. وسوء معتقده, or like he would leave his evil aqidah, or the mu'taqid, the beliefs that he had. ولم يزل دؤوبا على هذا, and he would remain, or he would persevere in this. He would persevere in this, Ahmad ibn Aoun, جاهدا فيه ابتغاء وجه الله, أو ابتغاء وجه الله, and he would strive in doing so, seeking the face of Allah, إلى أن لقي الله. نعم, up until he died. This was his way, up until he died. له في الملحدين آثار مشهورة, يعني he had a tremendous effect, or well-known effects on the mulhideen, the heretics, and يعني those who were deviants. وقائع مذكورة, and يعني encounters and incidents that are mentioned يعني between him and these individuals. نعم. And so with this we end the 9th principle, al-asl al-tasi', يعني the principle of munabadha of Ahlul Bid'ah, to oppose the people of innovation, وَالتَّحْذِيرُ مِنْهُمْ, and to warn against them. And this is just something from the athar, something from the ahadith and ayat, from the kitab and the sunnah, and the narrations from the Imams of the Salaf concerning this principle, which the Shaykh, he mentioned, أجمع السلف عليه, that the Salaf of this ummah, all of them agreed upon this. And this is clear from that which we've seen here, and that which is clearly taken from the kitab and the sunnah. And so the final principle is iltizamuna bil kitabi wa sunnah, our adherence or sticking to the kitab and the sunnah fi kull shu'unina wa ahwalina, in every one of our affairs and conditions. And so with that we'll end. هذا وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وجزاكم الله خيرا. Okay. Yeah.
We should advise the people who say, as long as somebody says they're Salafi, for example, and so They say they're Salafi, and you say you're Salafi, so we can listen to them as long as they say they're Salafi. Is that the yardstick that someone just claims
No.
they're Salafi?
Just making a claim itself is not sufficient. Al-bayyinatu ala al-mudda'i, as the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, al-bayyinatu ala al-mudda'i, the onus of proof is upon the one who makes a claim. Everybody can make a claim. The Jews make a claim. The Christians make a claim. They all claim to be Ahlul Jannah and the chosen ones of Allah, and upon the ones who are upon the haqq. Just because they claim it, it doesn't mean that that's the reality. And so whatever the claim may be, not just saying that a person is Salafi or he's upon the way to Salaf. Even a person says, I'm Sunni. Even a person says, I'm Sunni. A person says, I love Allah. And as the ayah, as you all know, in Surah Al-Imran, in kuntum tuhibbun Allah, fattabi'uni. Say that if indeed you love Allah, fattabi'uni. Then follow me, follow the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yuhibbukum Allah wa yaghfir lakum dhunubakum. Allah will love you and He will forgive you. And so the scholars have mentioned that this is ayatul imtihan. This is ayatul imtihan. This is verse of imtihan, verse of testing. It's not the case a person can just make a claim and is left alone. Rather, a person will be tested in that. A person will be tested. And Allah mentioned in Surah Al-Mumtahina. What's Surah Al-Mumtahina about? That is about the believing women who come to the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he used to test them in their beliefs. Imtihan is from the religion. Al-imtihan, testing individuals, it's from the religion. Shaykh Rahimahullah ibn Taymiyyah, he mentions that imtihan and testing individuals in their religion, if it's without due reason, then that is a bid'ah. That is not allowed. That a person just goes around and tests individuals in the deen without reason, then this is an innovation. And this is not something that has come, that we put the people to fitna, we trial them in their religion, and we're suspicious of everyone. However, if there is a need, then that is now something which it can even become obligatory. And so when the people of innovation began to spread, innovations began to increase, and the people of innovation began to grow in number, the Salaf of this ummah, they would then test individuals. They would test them in various ways. And so they would, when it came to accepting the narrations from anyone who would come and speak with affairs of the religion, anyone who would come and claim to have heard a narration, a hadith that goes back to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they would say, Sammu rijalakum. They would say, name for us your men. Who was narrated this hadith? Which shaykh has mentioned this? Because when the innovations began to spread, many of them would lie and they would fabricate in order for them to support their innovations and their beliefs, their corrupt beliefs. And so it became an affair of testing individuals. Naam. So an individual making a claim and saying that he's Salafi, and how many there are nowadays, in these times, this term Salafi, maybe a few years ago, there weren't so many who would attribute themselves to the way of the Salaf. However, you find many, when it became clear that that which for us in our situation, living here and our backgrounds, when many of us we were raised in communities, communities that are communities that are find their beliefs and their madhab, the madhab and the aqeedah of the Sufiya and so on. Many of us coming from different backgrounds, Ahnaf, from the various groups and sects of the Ahnaf, whether that was Barelwi or Tablighi or Diabandi or whatever, that when many of these groups and individuals have seen that the call to the way of the Salaf is a clear it is a clear, attractive call to many. So when they saw that they're losing many of their youth, before, when they would insult the Salaf and this term and the usage of this term, or anyone who uses this term, now you see from them those who will say yes, the way the Salaf, and they praise the Salaf, because initially there was some somewhat fear of this term, and perhaps that goes back to them not understanding this term, and what is this Salaf that we're hearing? All we know is that we're Hanafi or we're Tablighi, a strange term. But when it's explained to them, Salaf, the Salaf includes Abu Hanifa, includes all of the Imams, it includes the Sahaba, it includes the Tabi'een, the Qurun al-Mufaddala, the virtuous generations, all four of them. Naam. Because the narrations show that it's all four. If you make a jama' of all of the narrations, it's four of the generations. So that would include all of the four Imams. We include all the Bukhari and all of them. Naam. That when we call to the way of the Salaf and we make that clear, and we have seen that with time, when this became clear to the people and it was conveyed to them, that they lost many. They lost many of their followers. Alhamdulillah, where did many of us come from except from those backgrounds? Except from those backgrounds. And you go to their masajid and you see the number of youth that are with them. Very few. Very few. Alhamdulillah. The masajid of the people of Sunnah and Salafiyya, you find amongst them those who are young, studious, different ages. But those who learn their deen and want to, those who are sincere and want to learn. And so when they become acquainted with the term Salaf and Salafi, it is clear, because the narrations support all that. None of the narrations support following one man. None of the narrations support making taqleed of one man, of Abu Hanifa, of Imam Ahmad, Imam Malik, in all affairs. And then when it becomes clear that even that they don't do correctly, when the claim that they make, that we are Hanafi, because they make clear in their writings and in their announcements, we are Maturidi or Ash'ari in Aqidah, we are Hanafi in fiqh, we are Chishti in Suluq, and all of this. Where's Abu Hanifa then? Where's Abu Hanifa in Aqidah? It's not proper to follow him in Aqidah then? There are no evidences in the Kitab and the Sunnah that call to the blind following and rigid following of one man. But that which is clear from the Kitab and the Sunnah is that the way of the Salaf, the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, his Qarn, Sahaba, and the 3 generations after, it is clear. The narrations are authentic, clear, many of them. And so we find that in the recent times, many of them, even these Ahnaf, the Muta'assiba, Al-Muqallideen, that when they're confronted with this term, they say, yes, the Salaf, the Salaf, the Salaf. But because of none of us being able to make ijtihad and so on, and there are no scholars in this day and age who can make ijtihad, and because of you being prone to following your desires and taking from here and taking from there, then just stick to one Imam, stick to Abu Hanifa. So this is their way of calling back to that which they're still on. But they know that they can't disparage the Salaf. So many of them, they come and they'll say, yes, the way of the Salaf. Many of the takfiris and the jihadis, you find them. And for those of the brothers who have dealings with them here, they are with us, they are present. The takfiriyin and the khawarij. Those who, you find them, they'll come and they'll purchase the books on Aqidah. From the Salafi bookstores. And they'll purchase and read the books of the Imams, of Imam Ibn Baz, Imam Ibn Uthaymeen and Shaykh Al-Albani and others, and they'll refer back to their books on how to pray and so on. I have no problem with them in these affairs. But when it comes to the affair of the rulers, though, then they differ with them on that, and they have their own position. But they'll say, we are Salafi. Say, we are Salafi. And they'll disguise their bid'ah with that term Salafi, as the Shaykh is saying. يتسترون. They conceal themselves with these terms, Sunnah, Salafi. So whoever they are, Muhammad Hijab, Abu Taymiyyah, whatever their names are, all of them really, in reality, is that they popped up yesterday, and they're online, these online celebrities, if you like. Those who appeared online, if you look at their reality, the reality is that they themselves, that which they are upon, by way of manhaj, by way of their methodology, working with who they work with, siding with who they side with, the intimate friends that they take. All of that we see opposes the manhaj al-Salaf, working with this individual, that individual, working with the people of innovation, working with those who are known for khuruj, known for their ikhwani methodology and so on. Then all of that is a claim, and that claim itself doesn't mean anything unless it's backed up with proof. So anyone who claims a Salafi, that alone is not sufficient. Rather, we look to the reality of that which they're upon. We don't just accept it. We don't just accept that claim, and the fact that a person constantly says Salaf, Salafi, Sunni, and so on. That we look at the reality of his beliefs, that which he upholds. Not just that he says it, but we see him implementing these beliefs with the methodology that he's upon. If we see from him, he says he's Salafi, but he speaks against the rulers, can this person be Salafi? It's not possible that this person is Salafi. Or that he says he's Salafi, but then you see him working with the people of innovation, sitting with them, mixing with them, lending ear to them, coming side by side on the microphone, on YouTube with them. All of this shows that they have either misunderstood the manhaj al-Salaf, or, as the Shaykh is saying, and this is the case of many of them, يتسترون. They hide and conceal themselves, and they use the name of Sunnah and Salafiyah because they know that this is something which brings in the people. Because as we mentioned, the call to the way of the Salaf is clear. That's why you find many of the new Muslims, when they come into Islam, when they from the qadr of Allah, and they go to the muqallida, the muta'assibin, and they end up in their masajid from the qadr of Allah, with the Hanafis, and with the Sufis and so on. This call to follow one man in every single thing, when they have before themselves, alhamdulillah, al-ilm is easily accessible these days. The books of hadith translated, the Quran translated. When they themselves read that this is clearly established in the Sunnah, whether even if that is in affairs of ibadah, clear hadith, I'm reading hadith after hadith of raising the hands in the prayer before ruku' and after coming up from ruku' and so on. But then they go to these imams and they say, no, you must follow Abu Hanifa. It doesn't make sense to them. But when it comes, when they, from the tawfiq of Allah, if they are guided to hearing about the call of the Salaf and the da'wah of Salafiyah, it makes complete sense that we go back to the early affair, we go back to that which the Rasul was upon, what the Sahaba were upon. We follow the Kitab and the Sunnah bifahmi Salaf Salih. We follow the Kitab and the Sunnah with the understanding of the Salaf of this Ummah. Naam. Jazakumullah khairan.